Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think today's episode proves one major thing. We should have stayed at Taunton. Welcome back to our Zero to Hero series, where we are attempting to go from non-league football to winning the Champions League. And we've got some major events happening in today's episode. So let's start from the top. Since yesterday's episode, we have played through 2 more games with Grimsby Town. We've played against Portsmouth, which we lost 2-1. Great stuff. And then we've drawn 0-0 against Burton. Now, you might remember me saying in yesterday's episode that we were going to play through to the last 2 games of the season, but we haven't been able to do that. Before I show you why we haven't been able to do that, I'm just going to refer you over to past James when we joined the club to watch this clip. And they expect us this season to gain automatic promotion to the Championship. So the supporters, definitely a little bit more demanding than the board. That could be an issue. Now, to give that clip a little bit of context, Grimsby are currently 10th in the league. With 65 points on the board, still able to get into the playoffs. There's 4 games left to play for Grimsby Town, so definitely able to get into the playoffs. What we can't now do mathematically is qualify for automatic promotion because Huddersfield are on 81 points. In a bizarre turn of events, on the 6th of April, this has happened. Now, you might remember me mentioning when we joined the club as well that the chairman and the board only wanted a top half of the table finish, which we were definitely going to deliver. We also found a club that realistically probably wasn't ready for League One. Definitely wasn't ready to go up for automatic promotion, but the moment that mathematically we weren't able to do that, we got this, which is the supporters are disappointed that you have failed to achieve one of the objectives laid out in the club's vision, and as such they decided to terminate our contract. I guess the Grimsby supporters have a lot of clout with the chairman, but the board wanting us to finish mid-table and then firing us because we don't get automatic promotion on our first season in League One is absolutely insane. Grimsby supporters, I'm not sure I like you right now, and that means that in today's episode we've got to go job searching, really. And right now, heading into the business end of the season, there's not really a huge amount of jobs available. At least, I mean, there are some. Blackburn would be quite interesting, I think. And I think at the moment, given where we are in real life again, I would be looking to apply for as many jobs as possible because I don't want to sit unemployed. I've got bills to pay. I need to keep a roof over my head, keep the heating on, keep this computer running, etc, etc. So Blackburn, I definitely think we apply for that one in the Sky Bet Championship. I'd be surprised if we get that. We could apply for the Grimsby job just for the lols, I guess. Morecambe in the bottom of Sky Bet League One. I'm not sure that's one that I would look at right this second, nor Northampton. We've also got Wealdstone in the Vanarama National League, and then down from there we have got a lot of very unsecure or insecure jobs. So there could be stuff coming up, definitely. We're at the end of April. If we're looking at like the Championship, for example, how much longer have they got? Let's just pick Blackburn and see how many games they've got left to play. They have got a few games left to play. What happened to their manager? Their manager left the manager role. So Carlos Vicens has left the role. He's gone over to Nottingham Forest. I did see that job come up. Definitely would have been an interesting one because I definitely have some unfinished business with Nottingham Forest. Those of you who watched last year's save will completely get what I mean, given my game decided to eat itself and delete my save file. So we never actually got to finish our journey with Nottingham Forest when we were probably likely to get promoted into the Premier League. I guess for the moment, today's episode then is going to be hitting the continue button a lot and just waiting for jobs to come up. While I'm doing that though, let me know down in the comment section below, what do you think? Is that Grimsby sacking a little bit unfair or fair enough? Sorry, so the man has just fired me and now the chairman of Grimsby is looking to step down. Literally, look at this. There's actually potentially a takeover happening. That came through about a day before I got fired and now he's still looking to step down. The man's a monster. We have also got a couple more emails. The Blackburn job, they have said that we've been unsuccessful, but Morecambe have offered us a job interview. We haven't actually applied for this job. and I'm really not sure I want it. I'll explain why I don't want it. And Morecambe are 20th in the Sky Bet League 1, which is where we've just left. There are 3 games left for them to play, and only 1 point above the relegation zone. I'm not sure right this second I want to take over what could end up being a newly relegated club, as well as the fact that I am sort of banking that once some of the seasons end, although that's in a few months, some of these insecure and very insecure jobs, and I mean the unsecure jobs, go down quite far. Some of these guys could end up leaving, and then that opens up a decent amount of jobs for us to walk into, as well as the fact that some of these more secure jobs might taking over the unsecure clubs, etc, etc. So we're going to decline that one from Morecambe at the moment, and that interview with a journalist, and we're just going to keep on waiting and hitting continue until a suitable job comes up. It's not that one either. So we're now on the 12th of May, roughly a month of unemployment behind us. We have applied for some jobs. Some are ridiculously ambitious. For example, Celtic, if we get that job, I assume we've bribed someone. Sheffield Wednesday and Plymouth. The Plymouth one especially, I would be very, very interested in, because it just makes sense based on my actual real life location. I've mentioned before in videos, if I'm looking out of that window over there, which you guys can't see, but I'm in my office, Home Park is about 5 minutes walk that way. I can hear every sound on a match day at 3 p.m. today when it kicked off. You can hear the supporters. Argyle would definitely be a club I would be really, really interested in going to. We haven't heard anything from them yet. Peterborough have just come up as well. They're going to get relegated by the looks of it down to League 1, but we're going to apply for that one anyway because they're a relatively decent sized team. Forest Green are 12th in the Sky Bet League 2. They fired their manager, Gary Monk, because they, I'm assuming, weren't happy with that. And if we're having a look at their job advert, if we go back to them a second, actually you can't do it here. Where can you see job adverts? Here it is. Their ball culture develop players using the youth system, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't say anything about getting promoted or anything of the like, but Forest Green Rovers could be an interesting one as well. Do you believe Grimsby are right to sack you? That is not a question that you want to ask me 10 minutes or so after it's happened in real life. Do you believe Grimsby right to sack you? Let's not dwell on that. I'm going to try and sound professional because I want other clubs to approach me. Do I have any regrets regarding my time at Grimsby? No real regrets here. No, I'd have liked it to have gone differently, but I can't control fate. I think we go with that. Peterborough have received their application. Forest Green have also received their application. It is just a very long waiting game now. I'm hoping we do get a club before the transfer window opens, before budgets and everything like that are set. That would be ideal because really we want a full transfer window in the summer, which would be in tomorrow's episode ideally, to be able to rebuild a club. We don't really want to be going in the middle of a season. So if we are going to get fired, which we have, then this is probably the best time to do so. It's just a bit stressful finding a club, really. It's also a very long wait. For those of you who watched last year's series, and if you haven't, you should really go back and watch it, you'll remember that we won the Champions League and ended the series with Hertha Berlin, so they are on my favoured clubs list when I load in a manager. They are looking for a manager at the moment. I can't help feel that this is a little bit harsh. If you're looking at the job advert, they've obviously got relegated at some point, and they've just won the two Bundesliga. That's definitely not how you say that. So they are getting promoted and they've sacked their manager for getting a promotion. If you're having a look at this, he's been sacked by them. They indicated that all parties felt change was needed. And then Schwartz had become stale in his post. He's just got them a promotion. Wow. I mean, that feels a little harsh, if I'm honest. I can't fully agree with that one. There are some interesting jobs starting to come up, as we mentioned. Teams in the Bundesliga. Hertha Berlin would be in the Bundesliga. We still steer clear of Schalke. I don't like Schalke. Auxerre, though, I wouldn't be too mad at going to. It's a realistic transfer as well. I do speak French. I lived in France for a rough while, 8-9 years, something like that. When did I move over? So about 8 years I lived in France until I was about 19. So that's a realistic appointment. I do speak French. I really should start adding that into my manager profile at the start of games, because it would make, again, all of this realism a little bit more realistic, because it will say I'm going to France if I went over to Auxerre, and then mention that I don't speak French, when actually, if I was to get a job at Auxerre, I do speak French, and I would be very much able to walk straight into that job and hit the ground running. We've got a lot of applications on the go and not a lot of interviews happening. They have all just been sat there. No managers appointed yet, but no one offering us an interview. And I feel like it's getting a little bit worrying. But we do still have all of these jobs down here that are insecure. So I'm not worried yet. I just assume that teams are waiting until the end of the season before going and doing interviews. That would be my thought process. Hopefully, though, that means we should start getting some interviews in the next fortnight or so. For those of you who are interested as well, I just decided to have a quick look at Taunton. So we left around here. So they started about us in January. They were doing all right there. And then what happened in March? Oh, my goodness. They're currently... Oh, well, they're not currently. They have finished, if we go back, because the league is finished. They ended up finishing 19th. I mean, I think we left them in 7th, so they've barely gained any points since we left the club, which is a little bit concerning. Leon Chouame did finish, obviously, as top goal scorer, very unsurprisingly, although you can kind of see the difference here. When he's with us, 23 games and 19 goals. When he came back on loan, 18 games, only 6 goals. Definitely not the same player in the second half of the season. What the heck happened at Taunton? I feel really bad that we left there now. Dear Diary, it's the 3rd of June 2025. I have been unemployed for an obscenely long amount of time, and no one is offering me an interview. I am starting to get a little bit worried. Never mind, Diary, it's the day after, on the 4th of June, and we've just been offered a job, or we've not been offered a job, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We've been offered an interview with Plymouth. One of the reasons the board decided to offer an interview is because they feel you've been an acceptable fit for the club's vision for the future. This is mainly as a result of your deep commitment towards signing first-team players no older than 23. Happy days. Attend interview. Welcome, welcome. Hello there, Mr. Simon Hallett. The board are pleased you've taken the time to attend today. I am very happy to be here as well. I've been on the sidelines for a long time and I like Plymouth. Your managerial experience lacks variety in our opinion. I mean, I've not been a manager that long. Can you tell me why you've only worked with a small selection of teams? I've shown loyalty to every club I've managed, unlike Grimsby. Can you handle the step up that this job would represent? I don't think there's a dramatic difference between the two clubs. Football is football at the end of the day. I'm more than capable of doing well here. It's fair to say you failed to live up to expectations at your former club. That is unfair. I lived up to the board's expectation and you, sir, are the board. I live up to your expectations. It's the supporters that I have a problem with. Why weren't you able to produce the goods? I wasn't given a chance to see things through. I would have preferred to have been judged over a longer period of time. Can you explain why you appear to be in the running for a few jobs right now? Well, I'll be straight with you, Simon. I need to pay my bills. I'm just trying to forge ahead in my career by any means necessary. That's the truth. There have been some rumors you've routinely broken promises to your players. Care to explain yourself? Let's go with something here. This all stems back to the training thing at Taunton, where everyone wanted us to improve training facilities and our board refused to do it. I've had to tell the occasional white lie. No, I mean, none of these paint me in a very good picture. So they happened a long time ago and I've moved on from them. We'll just dismiss what he's saying. Are you willing to assure us that you do a better job of maintaining a good dressing room atmosphere here than the previous manager did? I promise to ensure a strong and positive dressing room atmosphere. Yeah. How do you feel about working with our current director of football, Neil Dewsnip? I mean, I was about to say he's no Sam Allardyce, but actually he looks pretty good. We understand the importance of having the right backroom staff in place when a manager moves to a new club. I won't need a budget, so I don't plan on making any changes. I'm not about to start bringing in people that I don't know. I'm just going to live with what you've got, and I'll mutually terminate anyone that I don't like on day one. Sign players under the age of 23 for the first team as part of the board culture. Play defensively solid football. Grow the club's reputation. Interesting. Essentially, they want us to attempt to remain in the championship. You're not in the championship. I can't help you remain in the championship. You're in the Sky Bet League 1. I'd like to suggest some changes to it, but realistically, that means I'm less likely, to get the job. And those are going to change on their own because my club vision is not going to be remain in the Sky Bet Championship when I'm in League One, should we get that job. It's a little bit of a flaw in the game. I assume that's because this year the manager would have had the objective to get promoted and then next year have the objective of staying in the Championship, whereas we're not going to have that objective because we're not going to be in the Championship. Either way, we're waiting to see if we hear anything back from Plymouth. We're still waiting. Grimsby have hired Stephen Schumacher, the actual current Plymouth Argyle manager in real life. What happened with him then? So he was sacked as Plymouth manager following team's relegation back in May 2024, so about a year ago. And now he's hired as Grimsby manager. I think you should have stuck with me, lads, if I'm honest. If you're going to hire somebody who's got relegated, I wasn't getting relegated. I was going to be really, really good and get you promoted next season. Instead of that, you've gone with someone with a relegation on their CV. I don't have one of those. Can you tell I still feel a little bit hard done by about that firing? Or we're not going to go through all of these because it would take an age. But the job interviews now coming through thick and fast. It's exactly what I said would happen. We've ended the season and now we've got job interview offers from Peterborough, Sheffield Wednesday and Forest Green. So we're going to go talk to all of them. Hopefully the next time I come back, we will be at one of these clubs. One of the four of them has got to offer me a job, surely. Or, you know, maybe they won't. Plymouth have already appointed a new manager. Peterborough, the interview was unsuccessful. Sheffield Wednesday, unsuccessful. Orcs, who we applied for, haven't even given us an interview. I mean, there's not a lot else happening. We're just banking all of our money now on Forest Green or one of these other clubs coming in, like Brighton. But that seems a little bit unlikely. QPR has just come up as well, so we'll apply for that. I don't think in a realistic world we're likely to get an interview at Milan or Roma or any of those sort of clubs. So really, we're kind of left now with Forest Green, QPR. I mean, that's just harsh. That's just really harsh, guys. Hopefully Forest Green come back to us. Well, Forest Green have come back to us and offered us a one-year contract at the club. They're probably the one with the securest sort of vision at the moment, based on where they are. So if we have a quick look at Forest Green and the Sky Bet League 2, they finished 12th in the Sky Bet League 2 with 59 points on the board, 10 points away from relegation, equally about 10 points away from the playoff positions. So very, very mid-table. They're wanting, going forward, us to reach the League 2 playoffs next season and then the season after win promotion, which I think is pretty achievable. They've also got a transfer budget of 2.1 million. Forest Green a little bit rich because Grimsby, the transfer budget for next season was going to be 155,000. Can we get them to give us a little bit more money than 1.1 though? So we were on, I want to say 1.5 at Grimsby. Will you give us 1.5? 1.2. Will you give us 1.4? 1.2. Will you give us 1.3? 1.2. Okay, we're finalising the deal. We are off to Forest Green Rovers, ladies and gentlemen. It is the third club in the save. Hopefully it lasts a little bit longer than the second club. Forest Green have today confirmed the appointment of Jay Edworthy as the club's new manager. Eyebrows have been raised in the world of football. The appointment of 33-year-old who recently spent time away from club football. And he's sure to face plenty of questions when he faces the media for the first time at the Bolt New Lawn. Is that the name of the stadium? Okay, Matt Godden was considered to be favourite for the job, but it's unclear whether the club favoured Edworthy all along. I'm not sure they would have done when we just got fired. But nonetheless, we are here. Media prediction is 6. I don't know if that's for next season or this season. It might be that was for this season, and that's when the managers got fired because they finished 12th and they were meant to finish 6th, potentially. The Bolt New Lawn then. So the Bolt New Lawn is actually their ground. Why is it called the Bolt New Lawn? If you're a Forest Green fan or you happen to know, let me know down in the comment section below. They narrowly failed to win promotion for the Sky Bet League 2 last term. Again, I don't know if that's talking about this season or next season or last season. Which season is it talking about? Who knows? Team report then, again, a 4-4-2. Is 4-4-2 one of just like those OP formations in this year's Football Manager? Because I have never seen so much 4-4-2 at a club. They want us to develop players using the club's youth system and sign players under the age of 23 for the first team, work within a wage budget and grow the club's reputation. That one should be easy if we get promoted. The rest of it, easy enough, I think. Maximum 1-year contracts for players over the age of 34, so nobody too old at the club. And they want us... That's literally changed since a minute ago. Now they want us to win promotion to the League One. You talk about breaking promises to players, and then you completely lied to me in an interview. It's fine. We're going to go with it. The supporters, however, what do they want us to do? Get the better of rivals Gloucester, unlikely we play them. Reach the League 2 playoffs. Okay, that's fine. And get the better of our rivals Cheltenham if we happen to play against them. I don't know what league Cheltenham are in. What league are Cheltenham in this universe? Who knows without going in and having a look. Reports on Wallace. Cool. We literally just got here. Calm down. They want us to have a look at the tactics. But before we do that, of course, we need to have a quick look around the club. So the first thing we're going to do then, have a look at the players that are in the squad. The first thing I've noticed, this is quite a large squad. In fact, if I have a look at this, I think it's a large squad anyway. 27 people. 2 of those are out on loan, so only 25 at this squad, but I guess a 25-man squad isn't that huge. The best of the bunch is Callum Jones, who is a defensive midfielder or midfielder. Seems to be favouring being a midfielder, but equally can play equally as well as defensive midfielder, both as a deep line playmaker, decent passing. How old are you? 24 years old, 3.5 stars current ability, 4 stars potential ability, could be a League One player. So I think that is ideal for someone of that age as well at the club. He's been with us for a couple of seasons. He's never had a real standout season here. Was at Wrexham on loan. He was formerly at Grimsby. I don't know if we like Callum Jones anymore. Maybe Callum Jones has been tainted. He only had 2 appearances at Grimsby though, so maybe he hasn't quite been contaminated yet. We can probably let Callum Jones live. Next one then, Jordan Moore-Taylor, whose name I recognise, formerly of Exeter. That's why I recognise his name. Central defender, 31 years old, so getting on in age a little bit for this squad. But equally, I think probably quite good for this season. League 2 player with unlikely to improve, but he could do for this season. I think he'll be fairly solid. Third in that list then, Joe McGlynn, who is a striker, deep lying forward or advanced forward. What's your pace like, lad? I mean, I don't think you're going to be a fantastic advanced forward, to be honest, but you probably do as maybe a second striker there. Current ability of 3.5 with potential to be a League One player as well. My main concern with Joe McGlynn being the 3rd best player at the club and a striker is those 9 goals in 40 appearances. 32 of those down here were starts as well, so it's not like he's been coming off the bench a lot. So it might be we need a striker at the club. We then got Luke McGee, who is our goalkeeper, 29 years old, played every league game this season by looking at actually 46 appearances, only 32 conceded, and he's done that 2 seasons in a row. I think Luke McGee might be quite good. He's a leading League 2 player, unlikely to improve, so probably couldn't make the step up, but going to be very, very good this season ahead, I think, as long as we can keep him at the club. We've then got Liam Burt, who is 3 stars current ability with a 3 stars potential. So just a League 2 player, unlikely to get any better. Have all these been saying League 2? They have been saying League 2. I forget what league we're in. I've moved clubs again, and I forgot what league we're in. Liam Burt then can play on the left or through the middle as well, depending on how we want to play. And then we've got all these players going down from there. Potential-wise, the highest potential player is Atef Konate, a 24-year-old left or right winger or central attacking midfielder or centre midfielder. He can do it all. But if we're having a look at him, 4 stars potential ability is the best we have in this squad. He's played 38 games this season, only 1 assist though. I don't know what position he's been playing, but that 1 assist does seem like it could be a little bit better. If they've been playing with a 4-4-2 as well, which I don't know if they have been, I don't know if I can see as well. If we have a look at the schedule, can we insert the column here and look at formation? So as we've headed into the end of the season, they've been playing a 5-3-2 and then switching to a 4-3-3 towards the end of the game in most games, which is interesting, I guess. Perhaps not the best end to the season either. Look, they won a game in February and they didn't win another game until May. They've only lost 2 of those, just an obscene amount of draws. Can we have a look quickly at our previous positions in the club as well? I mean, I'd say if we're having a look at them, those draws didn't, I won't say it didn't affect them because they were 7th around here. So that was the 28th of January. Then they dropped a little bit down to 12th. They've ended up finishing in 12th place as well. So the highest point was 7th, but 7th in this league, I believe, would be playoffs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe not. 4 playoff positions, I believe, in League 2. So it wouldn't have been the playoffs. So it probably, in the grand scheme of things, hasn't affected them too badly. Finances-wise, this is quite nice to see. We've got a wage budget of £55,000 or £55,400 for the season ahead. We're currently spending £44,000. So £10,000 left in the wage kitty. If we're having a look at this quickly and we arrange this by wage, our best play payer is Jack Marriott, our striker up front. Again, only 4 goals this season. Second best paid player at the club is Jordan Moore-Taylor, who we highlighted a minute ago. But the finances look okay. A couple of £1 million in the transfer budget as well. And if we have a look at the projection, I mean, we're projected to start losing money, but to make a profit every season. So I'm okay with that. Have we got any debts at the moment? We have got a little bit of transfer debt we need to repay, but it's nothing too substantial, I don't think, at the moment. Obviously, we've seen the club vision stuff at the moment. So I guess we have a quick look at what we'd be doing tactic-wise. I mean, it's saying a 4-4-2 was what the assistant manager recommended. If we arrange this by ability, we've got a striker, a defender, midfielder who can play as a defensive midfielder, if I remember rightly, in Callum Jones. So, yeah, midfielder, centre back. We've then got a striker, a goalkeeper, attacking midfielder left, attacking midfielder on the left. We've then got a right back, central midfielder, striker. We could probably go with a 4-3-3 as a bit of a starting option. I mean, so we've got fluid counter-attack, direct counter-attack, and park the bus is what our assistant manager is saying to play. I don't like the look of any of those, if I'm completely honest. I think let's go for a wing play 4-3-3, and we'll play it like that. We don't want that to be an anchor man already. Let's put that as a deep line playmaker on the fend. Couple of wing backs looks all right. We don't want you to be a deep line playmaker then. Let's put you as a ball winning midfielder, and then let's put you as a Mazzala. So we've got a nice core here, one running forward. We'll put both of these as inverted wingers, one on support and one on attack, and an advance forward. And then we turn around and go pick without restriction our best 11. And what would that look like? I mean, it looks relatively all right. I mean, the weakest of all of those is Gibbons over at right back because he wants to play as a fullback. So that's probably why. So we could change that and make him look a little bit better. If we had a pencil bring back on defend, he becomes a 3-star player. We've then got Robertson over here. But again, he could play as a winger. So we could change that to a winger if we needed to. Liam Burt on the other side. Again, how old are you? 26. Do you have any potential to improve? Not really. So I'd argue we don't put Burt there. We put Kanate that we already saw. And then who can we put as the Mazzala here? Potentially Thomas. Connor Thomas could play in there, but he's 37. The other big thing, of course, is that now we're going to be heading into the transfer window. If we do have a look at the squad and we put this by expiries, we have a lot of players going out of contract. I don't think any of them we need to worry too much about keeping. James Jones could probably stay, I think, but he is only decent League 2, so it depends what we could find. All of these guys want to leave. We'll have a look through them and work out which ones we're keeping. Development centre-wise, there isn't anyone coming through at the moment. There are some ones to watch. There are some needs attention. We've got a couple out on loan. I feel like this one is hilarious because I saw a minute ago. Alex Healy-Dern wants to leave the club. He's on transfer list by request for -£1. Apparently, this player is so bad that we're willing to pay another club £1 to take him. That's how that works. That's what negative £1 means. His contract, is it due to expire? It isn't due to expire. He's going to be here for another season, and we're willing to pay anyone. If you're a club and you'd like a right back that is a little bit naff, we'll pay you £1 to take this one. That's how bad this player is, apparently. That's exciting. We like that. Essentially, though, we now need to go and have a little bit of time with the club, get the staff in, look at the players, work out exactly what we're doing, and then go through the transfer window ahead of our first season in charge of Forest Green Rovers. Luckily, we have got that transfer window, so it shouldn't be quite as painful as when we took over Grimsby. Maybe we can even get a promotion and not sacked within 2 or 3 months. Would be ideal. If you have enjoyed today's episode, though, please do drop a like down below, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you for tomorrow's video where we do the transfer window with Forest Green Rovers. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Bye-bye.